So you know how I said last week that I was in a funk and in a mood?
Yeah.
So this week nothing's changed, but a pimple on my face.
So you're
guy
still
actually,
in a badass move, but now you have a...
But now I have like evidence to show for it. Like now you can see it. So like it's manifesting itself in acne now. So I have like 3 more, but you can only see this one because I picked at it.
Mm-hmm.
So
that
hey,
evil that's coming out of your body is coming out in the form of blemishes.
Yes, because I can't get physical, right? So it comes out in different ways because I'm a lady.
Well, so talking about wanting to get physical, so we went out Saturday.
Yeah, we got real physical.
We went out
not in a bad way.
last night.
Yeah.
We didn't go out last night, but it was Saturday.
Yeah, we had a
lot. It was a lot. So this is one of the most negative perks, I think, to getting older so when I was in my early 20s, my hangovers would last a couple of hours.
They were non-existent.
I probably got alcohol poisoning my 21st birthday from drinking like an entire bottle of that Pinnacle whipped cream vodka.
That makes really good shots, I will say.
I can't even smell it now because I got so sick. But the boyfriend that I was dating at the time, just as a testament to how amazing he was. So I got belligerently drunk to the point where I was sharing water with a dog. It was bad, y'all. So I was sloppy drunk, like probably borderline alcohol poisoning. He brings me back home to our apartment, puts me in the bathtub, and let me sleep in the bathtub. So I woke up the next day and I was like covered in vomit. This is nasty, but
we have a very similar 21st birthday
you have
stories.
Like everybody has a bad one. Like if you drink, you've
had at least one. It all ends in a bathroom, right? Either the tub or the floor or the toilet.
I woke up the next day and I was like, ew, who threw up on me? And then I'm like, I'm in the shower. So I went ahead and showered off, but then I go out and I'm like, dude, what happened? And he was like, oh, I didn't know if you were going to get sick and I didn't want to have to deal with you because he was mad at me. I guess I did some dumb, like it was a super toxic relationship, but I guess I did something the night before that made him really mad at me. So instead of taking care of me after getting me belligerently drunk, he put me in the bathtub to let me sleep it off by myself. But he was like, I figured if you were in the bathtub, you couldn't lay down flat. So if you threw up, like you couldn't asphyxiate yourself. How do you say that word?
Yeah, what is that word? Asphyxiation?
Asphyxiate?
Like erotic.
Asphyxiate.
I think we're still wrong. We might still be wrong.
Those who are listening, who are cringing at us,
whoever's doctors, like correct us, please. But yeah, I'm gonna talk about our drink of the week really, really quick. So I'm horrible and haven't come up with a name because I'm just gonna call it a sangria. And
is this our saucy sangria?
Yes.
We can dedicate this one to Justin because he's always about the sauce.
I like that. So it's going to be a little less toxic this week. Yeah. But basically,
our drink is less toxic, but the person it's named after is the most toxic.
I like to call it a sangria, but it's actually just wine with frozen fruit in it.
Oh, perfect. I'm good with it.
So you're welcome for that recipe.
Cheers.
Super easy. Yes, cheers. I'm just at the mic. It's fine.
Basically wine.
So I think we should talk about Saturday and what kind of went down because it was super, super fun. But every night, I feel like every night, no matter what, when you go out, some crazy wild shit happens. Like just some out of the blue wild stuff. So like everything, and it was really, really awesome because everything with our friend group went amazing. Like no one, like we had, how many people were in our section? Maybe like 15 20?
People. Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody got along and it was perfect and it was so fun. And shit would happen on the outside to the people in our group, you know, like from outside people. And it was so fun to watch how they handled it.
And on the inside, we're all just like vibing and having a great time.
Yeah, like everyone in the circle was cool and everything was fine in the circle. But there would be people outside the circle that would kind of come up and fuck with some people. And it was just really funny to watch how they handled it. And everyone handled everything very differently.
Well, so I can say as a female who has like strictly platonic guy friends and other ladies out there and even guys, like, because I know our guy friends are super protective over us.
Yes.
I am very protective over my guy friends. And I feel like that's one of the things that makes our group so amazing, honestly. But I know we had a little bit of a situation, and we can talk on it a little bit, but one of our guy friends invited a girl to join. She kind of dipped and bailed at the last minute, which shit happens. It's
Yeah,
fine.
you totally can. That's totally fine.
Yeah. But then as we rented a party bus because #responsible, no drunk drivers here. So we showed up in the party bus. We're like walking up because our Justin did the whole VIP thing. So we're like walking up. And the girl that he invited who canceled was there like right at the front, and she was like, "Oh, I'm with them." And I was like, "No, she's not. We don't know her."
Yeah, no. And honestly, like, I just kind of forgot that was even a thing. So when that happened, I was like, please, please, please tell me you told her no. Like, because I can, Justin's a little bit of a pushover sometimes.
No, I was like, no,
Yeah,
she's not with us. And Justin was like, oh, hey, I'm so sorry, but our section is pretty full, which it was at that point.
Yeah, he was very, very polite about it.
Yeah.
It was nothing, it was just shut down at that point.
She did some crappy stuff by being right outside of our section and trying to make him mad by making out with another guy. And Justin was just like, oh my God, this is hilarious.
Yeah, it's just don't at that point.
Like,
you know what I mean? Like,
you don't make anyone jealous when you act.
You ditch to have your own night with your own friends, and that's 100% okay.
Yeah,
don't have
if
like
you want to make a guy jealous,
an ulterior motive, or like you have a plan to show up and be like, oh, we're gonna show up the same time they show up and try to get in the section.
Well, and ladies, can we talk about something? If you want to make a guy jealous, you kind of do the opposite of what your first instincts are going to be, which is find another guy
because
and
those
make him
first
jealous.
the first instincts are going to be run off emotion.
Yeah,
naturally,
so
right? And you never want to act on emotion.
If instead she would have like sent him a text later or like while we're there and been like, hey, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to make that awkward, but you know, I was feeling anxiety about coming out with your group, because we get it sometimes.
We get it a lot. We get that a lot from girls.
The girls are kind of intimidated to be around our group. So if she would have sent him a message and been like, hey, I was just kind of intimidated. I didn't handle that the way I should have. I'm so sorry.
She was. Yeah, no one was saying that she was.
But to say, I hope you guys have a great night, and maybe you and I can hang out one day this week instead. And then you leave it at that.
And
like,
he probably still would have ignored you and not taken you seriously after that. But it puts you in a better light with him, and I feel like he's very forgiving.
I mean, sorry to say this,
and
but
you would
most
stand
guys
out amongst
are.
and you would stand out amongst those other girls that have used him.
Well, I mean, you'll be someone that later the guy's like, oh damn, maybe I should give her another shot, versus just you being the source of what his friends are laughing about for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, and he would be like, yeah, she made up for it, she apologized, whatever, and then move on. You know what I mean? Like, he's not
so
toxic in that way.
Don't stand outside of the section and make out with some other guy, but do send him a very classy message and say, hey, you know what? I hope you and your friends have a good time. Here's a quick explanation. I got anxious. Your female friends are very intimidating, and I let my anxiety get the better of me.
And we only say that's just an example because a lot of girls have not come into our section, hung out with us, with our guy friends, because they've said we are intimidating. So I'm not saying she was intimidated by us.
That's kind of the standard answer that we get.
But that has
people,
just been the common denominator for a lot of these occasions. But so that was one thing.
And most of the time, if girls are canceling, it is usually from them being nervous or anxious.
Absolutely. Or like, they just have they'd rather do something else, which is
that's something
totally
I get from a lot of my guy friends who are on like the online dating scene, is they will make a date with these girls, and then some of them just get straight up ghosted, which I'm sorry, but I think that's just like the least classy thing that you could do.
Really? Because I ghost a lot of people.
Well, if you...
Not when we already had plans.
If you make plans...
Yeah, I don't ghost if we had plans.
You cancel those plans. Like, cancel. For make up an excuse, my dog's throwing up, I can't go out. Make up an excuse.
My mom said I have to stay in tonight.
Yeah. I decided to get back with my ex-boyfriend.
My mom said no.
I mean, there are literally so many excuses my car has a flat tire, right? Literally so many excuses that you could use to get out of a date.
I don't know. If you have a high value man, he's going to send an Uber to come get you.
I mean, yes, but that's
okay. Just examples if you don't have someone who can do that.
I'm just saying, like, I feel like that's one of the things as a female that will diminish your value so quickly, because guys talk about that kind of stuff, and especially we live in like a relatively small community.
Yeah.
You do not want. I don't want to have the reputation of someone that ghosts, but also like I've never been ghosted on, just like someone straight up not showing up.
Yeah.
But I've had enough guy friends that's happened to, that like, I don't know, I feel for them. So I wouldn't do that to someone. But
absolutely,
always make an excuse, because I feel like I've got a lot of guy friends who ghost. But just know, guys, that if a girl does cancel on your plans, sometimes that's really just anxiety.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes the anxiety gets the better of her.
But then you have the flip side of it where a guy you don't even know comes up to your section and tries to talk to you, saying that they know you. And I'll tell this story because, and I literally, like, usually if I follow somebody or they follow me and they're anywhere around my age around here, I kind of recognize their face. Something. I'm a face person, not a name person, whatever. I can put a face. I bartend. I can put a face to a drink anytime, but just I will never remember your name for your tab. You know what I mean? So this was like near the end of the night. I think we were almost on our way out. It was probably about 1:00, 1:30. And so we were just standing there and there had been just some chaos. I don't know what happened. I think it was right after the one of our guy friends got into a little scuffle. Bouncer guy comes walking over and he goes, "What's happening?" And our guy friend goes, "I handled it." He's like, okay. Walks away. Anyway.
Cool, thanks.
So what happened with the guy? So it was towards the end of the night, probably like not 30 minutes after that happened. He comes like just walking and he walks right into our section, whatever. And he holds up his phone at me. Like he came right to me, holds his phone up at me, shows me my Instagram story from that day, goes, "Is this you?" And he was like,
oh, that's so weird.
he was like lights on, no one's home. You know, like he was hammered. And I was like, "Yeah. You follow me or something?" He was like, and he couldn't even like make words. Like it was ridiculous. And I was like, "But you got to go though." like, thank you. And I appreciate you.
But go away.
But I don't do this yet. Like, go away. So, yeah, he just left. Like, well, you know, the security guy was just like escorting him. Like, "Yeah, just come on this way."
Let's go, buddy.
Yeah, exactly, like a kid. And he just left. But I thought that was the weirdest thing because I had never seen this man in my life.
So I'll say,
Isn't it weird?
It's so, and I get really weirded out. So I will sometimes have people in public that I don't talk to on a regular basis, which I get if I'm putting stuff on social media, like you are kind of asking for people to give you some sort of feedback.
Yeah.
But it's so weird for me when I'm out and about in public and it's someone that's like not in our circle that I don't talk to very frequently that asks me about something that has to do with something I've posted on social media.
Now, I kind of liked it. I was almost a little flattered because it was like, okay, we're starting to get traction.
Well, I think if you're like on a date with someone, like especially if it's like second or third date, I think it's kind of expected that you check out their social media accounts typically, right?
Yeah.
So then you can use that as like a date topic, like, "Oh, hey, I saw that you like scuba diving. I also like scuba diving." Or like you can turn it into like a conversation topic. It's just so weird for me when it's someone that like I don't know well and they're like, "Oh yeah, I see you're out and about drinking all the time."
Oh, that kind of thing.
I'm like,
yeah.
I don't drink all the time. That's like a once a month, maybe like once every month and a half kind of excursion.
And it's more so a celebration than actually just going out and drinking. Like we don't.
I mean, this week we were celebrating like some huge victories and milestones in our podcast.
Yeah, the
we were
podcast
celebrating
stuff, Justin's
podcast,
TikTok growth.
We had friends that
Rain's
just bought a house.
Yeah,
we've got all sorts of other stuff like that we're celebrating. So yes, we celebrate big, we celebrate in style when we can, but it's not like that's every single weekend.
Right, and also just like none of your business, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So moving on, this week we decided we wanted to do a Q&A episode.
Yeah, so we actually got this was also, we wanted to talk about what our awkward sex stories.
Well, it's one of the questions that we've got.
It is. Okay, so the Q&A, basically what it is viewers have actually
viewers,
sent
friends
us some
that listen
questions
to the podcast, people random that listen to the podcast have sent in some kind of fun, kind of spicy, some probably borderline inappropriate questions, but we're here to answer them.
Yeah, we're just doing our job. We're just answering them. We did not make these questions.
So just know, for all of you that are listening, if you have anything fun or funky or weird that you want to know about us,
or any stories you just want to tell us that you want us to kind of like talk about.
Yeah, that's not medically related.
Yeah, we would love to hear it. But yeah, so I think the first question was, tell us some of your awkward sex stories.
Most awkward sex story, because we did have a listener that said he absolutely loves our which we've gotten this a lot, the guys out there seem to really love like our funny sex story fails.
And I love being able to be fun and funny and talk about those kind of things too. I think it lightens the mood a little bit.
Yeah, so Emma, let's hear about your most awkward sex story.
So good God, I hope you don't listen to this podcast because I'm about to give some details. So this guy I was seeing, let's say, when was this, about a year ago? Yeah, I was seeing this guy on and off for about a year ago, or a year, about, yeah, I'd say on and off for about a year. Just casual, nothing really serious. It never got serious, but it was really fun. Just someone fun to hang out with. But regardless, we went out, and then we got back, whatever, hanging out, and we started having sex. And dude, so you know how you have like a drunken infused sex where it's just like spontaneous, just kind of like fast paced, fun, whatever. So we just got like we were just switching positions really quick, and he had to like roll over onto his back really fast, and he rolled over too far and fell off my bed, and dude, and banged the shit out of his head on my my nightstand.
Did he like bust his head open?
No, I don't think so, but it was so loud, and I was like, ooh. And he was like, he's such a funny guy. He just laughed it off. And honestly, I don't remember what happened after that, if we just like stopped it or whatever, but it was literally like, I don't know, can I hit something? Like it was like it was so loud. And I was like, you know what? That's probably the last time I'm going to see him. Like, this just ruined it. Whoops. But it was funny. Because I was like, oh my God, he busted his head open because my hard ass nightstand. And it was very quick, very fast. And it was like, bam.
Oh my gosh.
And he fell completely off onto the floor. Like, it wasn't just like his whole body fell on the floor. And he's a big dude. So I was like, okay.
You okay
so that
down
was
there?
yeah. And I was like, is this my fault? Like, I felt really bad. And so that was probably my most awkward
did you
story.
Get off?
No.
Oh, that's
he did off my bed. But I didn't.
He got off my bed.
But no, I did not. After that, I think it kind of ruined the mood for me. I felt really bad. And, you know, but that is mine. There's really nothing more to it, but I hope you're okay out there. And hope you didn't get a concussion from that, because damn, that was hard.
Oh man,
the sound was amplifying. But
I have asthma, so
no.
I don't always have an inhaler on me, and sometimes like post coitus, it's not uncommon for me to have a little bit of a wheezing attack, and I've scared.
Can you imagine? The sex is so good, you give her an asthma attack, dude.
So I've tried to be like, no, I'm fine. I'm not dead. You should be very flattered.
You're just like, you guys both like lay down next to each other on the bed afterwards, like, oh, that was so great. Then all of a sudden you listen to her, she goes, and you're like, is there a dog in here? Like,
are you dying? Yep, I'm good though.
Dude, like, do I need to give you CPR? Like, what's that? The dick was so good, I'm dead now.
I'm dying. Hey, worse ways to go.
Guess.
So the next question on the list is, what are some of your biggest pet peeves?
Okay, I'm going to go first again. So biggest pet peeve in terms of just like, what, like an ick?
Like an ick, yeah.
So I have 2 icks.
Okay.
My first ick, when a man wears a hoodie and his t-shirt sticks out underneath it.
Very specific, but I like it.
And the second ick, when a man is kissing you or making out with you and he burps in your mouth. That has happened to me. Or just like burp right there, dude. Like maybe not like a, you know, just like mouth like on me, but like, you know, like it's kind of like you pull back a little. Just like,
oh my God, ew.
Either way, if it's in my mouth or just outside of it, regardless, it's too close to my nose. And, but yeah, dude, no, I've had that happen on way too many occasions. And
that's not okay.
And we both realize it, you know, but like no one says anything. I just have to deal with it. Like, what are you going to do? Just like stop the entire thing and be like, yo, I personally think burping is more gross than farting.
See,
and that's a hot take.
I'm someone that I burp A lot. And I
And
have
that's
accidentally, so I had,
But the smell of a burp is just so much more repulsive
I have
than
one-
just like a fart.
I have one story. I was feeling kind of like nauseous and like sick to my stomach one day. And I was like, looked at the person and I was like, I might throw up. And I'm just like looking at him.
He's like, burp.
And no, and he's like, finally he gives me a weird look, and then he goes, "Blah," and it was a burp. And it was really gross. Apparently it smelled bad, and he was like, if I had a boner, it's gone now.
Dude, burps can still fill a room like a fart can. And they're deadly because you don't really smell those very often, so you're not used to like,
Oh man.
dude, ew. I don't know, and that's just like someone's mouth. Like it's more of like a, it's part of your face. and
I
you're
would
just-
say like the biggest ick factor for me is probably like smell related. So if someone smells bad or if they have bad breath. Like
yeah, bad breath is bad too.
I've had guys try to kiss me before and they have like
Ooh.
kind of bad breath and I'm like,
Or they got that like white shit on their lip.
I've never had that happen.
I don't know what that means. I think it means you're dehydrated.
I don't know. That's
I've
never happened to
actually
me
heard that that's
before.
an ick from a lot of girls. So
Oh, that would-
at least
that would
half
be
of you will
an
know
ick.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
but
that
they
would
get
be
like
an
that.
ick.
They get that like white line in the corner of their mouths.
But the whole
And they
smell
don't
thing, that is
care.
why like I'm not a fan at all of morning sex. Like I
Yes,
do not
me
like
either.
morning sex. I
Me
want
either.
to I want to brush my teeth. Like that is the furthest thing from my mind first thing in the morning upon waking up.
Which is crazy because I feel like morning sex would be the closest thing to the most primal,
Oh,
intimate
I
connection
think
ever because y'all are
most-
just in your like.
I think most guys are going to
In your natural
vehemently
state.
disagree because I think like testosterone levels are typically the highest.
The highest when you
first
wake up. That's why that's morning wood. That's
Yeah.
where morning wood comes from.
So yeah, I that's why I'm like, ew. I want to brush teeth. I want to no.
Yeah.
And I'm also I'm not a morning person. Like I crave murder and coffee in the morning. That's about it.
Murder.
Yeah. I wake up.
You wake up so mad.
I wake up craving violence. I can't help myself. I just wake up and I'm like immediately pissed off and angry.
Girl, you need to meditate.
I just drink coffee. Within 10 minutes, I'm my normal self. But like the
Or a
first
Xanax.
10 minutes upon waking up, I'm like, I could murder you. No,
Damn.
would people miss you? I don't know.
Just thinking of her weapon of choice. Just dreaming of
It'd be a
absolute
knife.
chaos.
It'd be a knife first thing in the morning. Yeah.
a nut. Oh my god.
Yeah. Probably the most violent thing.
You know what I think of when I first wake up? Food.
Oh, no. Mine's murder.
And hers
then
is murder.
Coffee.
Yeah. You think that's kind of crazy how like yours is murder, mine's food. When I look like I would murder somebody, and you look like you would.
Well, I
just,
think
you
it
know,
probably shifts. For
you would
us
wake
after
up with
we-
like birds singing.
after
and
we're like
flowers blooming.
woken up a little bit more. Yeah, within like 10 minutes of me waking up, I am like a Disney princess.
Yeah.
But I need to be one of those girls that like if the dude wants me to be some sort of entertaining or pleasant at all, I need 10 minutes of
Now, if
silence
you
first.
wake me up in the like if you're being loud or something, or you get up early and you wake me up on purpose, I'm a
Mm-hmm.
bitch. I don't wake me up. Like I will wake up naturally and I'll be sleeping and like just like beautiful beauty sleep. My eyes slowly open. Okay, birds chirping. I'm awake. Like if you go, hey, wake up, or just anything like that, like hey, even soft. I'm like, what?
I feel like if someone did that to me, I should be allowed to murder them and
Yes.
get off on a plea of insanity.
Yes, I think that's fair. Well, also, I live alone. I don't know if I should be saying this on here, but I live alone, and I sleep strapped, so don't worry about it. But I feel like that would make my instincts kick in. I'm just like fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no
Because
flight.
I'm not
mode,
used
just
to
pure
dudes
fight.
staying at my place. So if one did, and then you do that, and even worse, if you're doing that trying to wake me up for sex,
Oh.
you have a death. You have a death sentence, death
Yeah.
wish. But
So that's
Either way.
probably an unpopular opinion I have, but I don't appreciate at all getting woken up for sex.
no.
Like it's almost, I feel almost violated if like
Mm-hmm.
a person, and maybe this is wrong, but if like my partner is touching me before I have a chance to be awake and consent, like that's one of those things for me that like I wake
It's
up and
triggering.
I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a trigger for me, not a fan.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Don't
it
love
depends. It totally also depends on the person. Like if I just like love you so much, you know what I mean? Like if it was one of those things, I'd be like, oh, that's really cute, and then maybe just like roll over and fall back asleep, like with you or something. Or if we like both kind of wake up and
No,
you've
like
been
if-
waiting for me to
if
wake
the
up.
person wants that, they need to like wake me up first. Like don't wake
Oh
me
yeah,
up in the
Don't
middle
be
of
sneaking
something
up on
funky.
me and yeah. I do like a good like turn towards you and like pull you in while we're sleeping, like throughout the night. That's my favorite thing ever. Cause like, oh, you're thinking of me when you're like barely awake, like half awake, you know, just like turning around, and then he grabs you and just pulls you in.
I'm not a cuddler when I sleep.
I like it.
I like to cuddle before I fall asleep, and then I'm very quickly like, get off of me, don't touch me.
Are you one of those girls that like has to fall asleep first?
No, I normally don't fall asleep first.
I hate being the only one awake. I don't know why. Cause I'm like,
I have insomnia,
it might be
so
like
I am regularly the only person awake.
it might just be like a psychological reaction thing. I'm like, okay, I'm the only one awake, so if anything bad happens, I'm the one that's got to deal with it. It's just part of growing
I'm
up.
just always so ready for violence. I think that's not something that crosses my mind.
Oh, I am too. I have protection
There are
around my
firearms
apartment for
within
me.
reach of any place I am in my home. So let's
Yeah.
move on to the next question, which is
Wait, what's your pet peeve?
I said it. Bad smells. People that stink.
Oh, heard. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, wear deodorant and shower every day. Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
Nice cologne. I just
Yeah.
don't like stinks.
Solid.
So we had someone, this was a girl, ask, what is your opinion on snooping, specifically snooping on someone's phone? Because I know in one episode we talked about like snooping, kind of looking around their bathroom, which I don't know if that's so much called snooping as it is just being observant and like looking around. I guess
Now-
it's not observant if you're going through drawers and cabinets and stuff, which
Yeah, I'm gonna start with this one. I will say I don't like to hurt my own feelings.
yeah.
And I'm going to start with that. And also, I don't think it's right to ever go through your man's phone. I don't think it's ever something you should be doing. If you have to get to that point, I think there's trust issues involved, which is a deeper issue than what's actually in his phone. So I never snoop. Literally, so there's this guy I was talking to, again, on and off for a year, different dude. And I would go, whenever I would stay at his place, it was kind of more so a casual thing now that I think about it at this point. Whenever I would go to his place, I would be like, okay, I would literally, to go to the bathroom, like when I went to the bathroom, like his personal bathroom off of his bedroom, I would sit there and look straight ahead. Go to the bathroom, look at the toilet paper, do my thing, get up, wash my hands, get out. I would not look around.
That's such a
I
crazy
wouldn't look
trauma
through drawers.
response
It
to
is.
me.
It truly is. Well, he caused it, but like also, I was like,
Yeah,
okay.
don't get. I mean, if
I didn't
especially
wanna
if it's
hurt-
like a casual thing, you got to be careful and not get your feelings hurt because you
Yeah.
don't have an obligation to one another.
Well, the
if it's
thing, it was
casual.
like, it was a casual thing, but to him, like at the time, like he made me feel
oh,
like
you
it was
weren't on
deeper.
the same page.
Yeah, he made me feel like it was more. So like he already broke my trust in the time before. So I was just like, okay, well this is probably just a last time thing. Like it was the last time we had hung out, hooked up, whatever. So I was like, this is the last time deal. I'm calling it, like whatever. But I was not gonna look around and like. And literally, oh my god, dude, I tried so hard not to look around. I go to wash my hands. There's a fucking women's shampoo bottle right next to the sink. Why is this in the sink? Put it in the shower. At least hide it from me. And it was one of those cheap drugstore ones. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And that's not even, it wasn't even like a unisex one where men could use it. No, it was a strictly women brand.
Oof. I feel like we need the yuck.
And now I'm
on
mad
the
again.
Soundboard.
And now I'm mad again.
So I'll say,
I was almost just going to take it out and give it to him. Like, really?
I would have.
You couldn't at least
I
just
would have
hide
come out of
this?
the bathroom and thrown it at his head.
Like, I know now it's casual at this point because we stopped like the whole like possible dating thing. But can you go to the bathroom before me and just make sure there's nothing that would piss me
do
off?
a courtesy sweep.
Yeah.
No,
Or just stop being a whore.
I'm.
That works too.
That's asking way too much,
Now I'm
knowing
mad.
what I know about that person. So, I would say I'm kind of the opposite in that sense. So I will snoop in the bathroom, but it's not even for what you think. Then this is crazy. But like typically if I'm in a guy's bathroom, we're dating. Like I normally
What if you just gotta
if
pee?
we're not no, but I'm saying if we're like if I'm in a guy's bathroom,
Oh,
if I'm
because you're
over-
strictly exclusive
if I'm
relationships.
over
So you're
at
not
his
even in his
place-
bed unless
yeah.
you're, yeah. Okay.
No, so if I'm over at his place using his like personal bathroom,
Yeah.
we're exclusive. So if I'm staying there, I have crazy freak allergies. So I'm usually like, okay, let me do like a quick sweep. Does he have Benadryl? Does he have medication? Because guys don't have shit.
Yeah,
They will not
that's
have
smart, though.
ibuprofen. They will not have anything. And then if I have an allergic reaction or something crazy, like I'm like, okay, is this one of those? Like, do I need to bring Benadryl and stash it over here?
Or am I gonna die tonight after sex after I get off and then have an
an asthma attack?
asthma attack?
So, yeah, but I will say I have snooped on a partner's phone before, and I got my feelings very, very, very hurt because I knew something was going on. So at that
Our
point,
intuition is so strong.
well, at that point, it was really for me just to confirm.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I know something funky is going on. I'm just going to confirm it because he's obviously not being honest with me. So why wouldn't I go on there and be like, okay. So I go on there. I find the messages between him and the girl that he's like, oh, you don't have to worry about that. She's just a friend. And there are pictures and there are conversations and there are things that being said just within like a quick scroll. You know, you can like swipe and scroll. Just a quick swipe and scroll. I'm like, this is in no way, shape, or form appropriate. And then there was like a Venmo thing from him sending her money.
Ooh, you never mess with a man that is sending other women money.
No. So I will
Never.
say I don't. And now, because that hurt my feelings so bad, having to see it confirmed.
I mean, him providing for another girl would just piss me off the most out of anything.
It depends, right?
It's
like
more intimate for
like
a dude
if she's
to
coming
send a
over
girl
to
money.
clean your house, if she has done something,
I don't give a
if
fuck.
I'm just saying, if there's a reason for you to pay
You
her,
invoice his ass through PayPal or something. Be a real businessman.
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
there could be
Yeah.
legitimate reasons, but not because the Venmo thing was literally him saying for nudes. And I was like,
He couldn't even be discreet about it. Like maybe covering the eyes emoji, or like a.
no, but it was
Or
spelled,
like a
it was spelled Noods.
But he ain't talking about pasta.
So I was, when I brought it up, he was like, it was noodles. She bought me, she sent me food. I
Dudes
was
will say
like,
anything but tell the truth.
dude, come on. If you're gonna lie to my face,
Was it spaghetti?
be more
Or
creative.
I would start asking more questions.
They have
Because,
emojis
okay,
for
I'll
that.
be like, okay.
No, I was just out on the situation by that
No,
point.
dude, no. I would have been like, okay, was it spaghetti?
Well,
Fettuccine?
and I'll say, so
Rigatoni?
the first message that I saw when I scrolled was her saying, tell me a naughty bedtime story. And I was there, I was like,
Just a nightmare at Olive Garden.
I should stop here, but I know me, and I'm not gonna stop here. I'm gonna keep reading. I'm just gonna really dig this hole deeper and deeper. So
Well, that's a way that you can heal yourself and disconnect by just pissing yourself the fuck off.
Now where I am in life, if I have an inclination, I'm gonna be like, can I see your phone? Can I see that conversation? So, ladies, if you're gonna snoop, don't snoop. But if you have a question, if you're feeling like the relationships I'm in now, if I'm
I feel
feeling
like if you have like evidence or if you have like a tip from someone that he may be talking to some people, then maybe if you really want to go through his phone, it's valid to do
oh no,
so.
now as an adult, I would be like, if that is strictly a friend to friend relationship, can I see your phone? Because if he says no, they're not just friends.
Agreed.
Justin is one of my best friends on the face of this planet. If a significant other came to me and said, hey, can I see those things y'all are texting? I'm going to be like, sure. Have
Oh yeah,
at it.
absolutely.
Like, I have nothing to hide. If you truly have nothing to hide,
yeah,
you're
should
going
be
to
no
hand
question.
it over. So and that would usually follow there being something concrete to give me a reason to be like, hey, let me see that.
Yeah.
Because if there isn't anything concrete, like I've done that before with an ex that I dated that cheated on me with his best friend's wife.
Merp.
So there was a situation where I asked to see his phone at one point because I think one of my girlfriends sent me a message that was like, hey, if you want to hurt your feelings, look through his Instagram messages. Because she had just done that with her boyfriend and found a bunch of stuff, which we'll move on to. Because we actually got that as a question.
Yeah.
But she had gone through and he was like hearting other girls' stories of like half naked pictures. And he's like,
I hate social media.
saying stuff to them. And she was like, that's cheating. So I was like, hey. So I had me on my phone on Snapchat. And I was like, hey, can I see your phone? I need to look through your Instagram. And he immediately panicked and he was like, what? Why? And I was like, oh, now give me your phone.
That would be enough for me to be like, okay, point valid. I'm out.
Hand it over. So before he handed it to me, I saw him do this. So I was like, what are you deleting?
What's that TikTok sound? It was like, Oh, don't panic, darling.
Yeah.
Have you heard that one?
Don't worry, don't panic, darling.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
That
you're about to
applies.
hurt your own feelings. So, no, I'm not an advocate for snooping. I'm an advocate for being an adult. And if you have an issue with someone,
Yeah.
just come right out and say, hey, can I look at that?
And I've done that too because I have huge trauma responses with this shit. Like, I literally have been gaslighted so bad. All the things from some past exes and situationships and stuff about like me being crazy because I was thinking this and that, but I was right the whole time.
Yeah, usually you
And-
are. Female intuition
And so
is a
I
very
actually did
powerful
this
thing.
like with the last guy I was like relatively serious with. I was getting like kind of like I had trust issues with him anyway. So, but another thing came up and I was like, hey, do you mind, reassuring me that this isn't true? And I just had like a normal, like, I was pulling back all my emotions because it triggers the hell out of me. And I was like, can you just verify that this is not true? I'm going to go with your word because I want to learn how to trust you again and whatever. And he told me straight up, like, I used to have a past with this girl. We used to hook up. It's not that anymore. I told her I didn't want anything serious with her. She wanted something serious with me, but it's not that anymore. I promise you. I like to be cool with everybody. So we don't hang out. She's just an acquaintance I see at the bar every once in a while, which I really respected. And he literally followed up by saying, let me know if you feel disrespected again or anything like that if you feel that way.
But
And
dudes will say that to your face,
And
and
they'll
then they
say
will
that to your
still sleep with
face?
her the next weekend.
And they'll say that to your face and be fucking a different girl instead of her, dude.
Oh, honey, I swear my hands are clean. I've not fucked her ever.
Oh, but I'm fucking someone else though.
Well, okay, so
And
we
plot
pick
twist,
on
I knew about that girl the entire time. Didn't ask about her yet though.
we pick on
but-
guys, but like I also know of girls that do shit like this too.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
I mean,
I'm just glad we don't like.
no.
I can't relate to that.
Well, and really no one in our circle. But one of the questions that
I wouldn't
we
surround
had,
myself with girls that do that.
No.
No.
And so this is one of the things that's important to keep in mind because I've had a few situations of guys that I was talking to where when you get to meet the friends, this is why I love meeting the friends before you reach that point of exclusivity.
Yeah.
So if you listen to those friends talk
Mm-hmm.
and you listen to how they talk about the females in their lives,
Yes.
your dude, I'm
Yes.
sorry, girls, to say this, and guys out there, keep in mind who you bring your girlfriend around because she will judge you. But if the dude's friends are all talking about their side chicks and their side pieces and these girls that they're hooking up with and that girl that they're hooking up with and bragging about the
Yeah.
number of girls that they're hooking up with through like Tinder, Hinge, blah, 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 whatever.
And if they just talk down about women in general,
your
just hate on girls.
Your
like,
guy is going to be doing the same stuff.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Birds of a feather flock together. That's why I love our friends group.
Yeah.
And like we have some tea that happens and some crazy fun drama stuff.
But it's never really caused by our actions. You know what I mean? It's really done to.
I mean, Justin does everything that happens to him. he brings that on himself.
But you,
I'm
you can
gonna
only
pick on
control.
him.
You can only control so much, right?
Well, you can't control other people's actions,
Right,
right?
right.
But like
and
it
some
is-
people deceive you, and I've like even
it
him,
is what it
so.
is. But like I would say with like your same sex friends, be cautious who you have your partner around because if they're talking about stuff and sometimes they will just straight up sell you down the river because I've
Yep.
had friends of my guy come to me and be like, you seem really nice, by the way, I feel like you should know this.
Yeah, you deserve better.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Oh, that you deserve better. Every
Like, you're gonna
situ-
talk about your boy like
every
that?
situation where a guy's friend has come to me saying you deserve better in like a serious way, not like playful in front of the guy.
Oh, they're trying to fuck you.
No, the dude's cheating on you.
And his friend's trying to bone you.
Maybe. But literally, well,
Trying to doink.
probably. But every situation that's happened when the guy comes to me on the side and he's like, hey, you seem really nice. You deserve better.
It's the same thing as like, hey girl,
Yeah.
like those messages. You know what I mean?
So,
But anyway, we should move on.
moving along, the next question we had was from a girl, and it's thoughts on guys who follow Insta thoughts, THOTS, / liking the girls' stuff, / booty pics, / that kind of stuff. Is that cheating?
I think it's extremely disrespectful.
Agreed.
I wouldn't call it cheating. I would call it him being a man, being stupid, and thinking he's not gonna get caught.
Well, and so I don't know if a lot of guys know this, but like,
And you can, and I've heard guys talk about this before. Like they can look at a picture and fucking scroll. You know what I mean? You don't need to interact with
can be
it.
like the world's biggest FBI agents. Like, I know of girls that if there's a guy that they're seriously talking to, you can tell the girls that guys have followed most recently.
Yep.
They will
Very
look at
easily.
that girl's pictures to see if or their dude is liking that girl's pictures. Because you
Oh,
can
absolutely.
click on the likes, or you can look at the comments. You can do
Yeah.
whatever.
I've done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the
So,
time.
I mean,
I've done it for friends, guys, just because I was
I
curious.
haven't, but I have sat with my girlfriends who have done that. So,
It's like a sixth
I don't
sense.
think it's cheating, but I think it's probably something that would lead up to that.
Okay, so we're gonna agree that it's not cheating if a guy likes a
I
girl's picture.
wouldn't say it's cheating, but that would be a major red flag, and that would probably be a thing that I would end a relationship over.
Yep, that would be something. If you didn't fix it after I addressed it, that would be a deal breaker for me, because
Yeah.
that means you don't respect me enough to stop and giving other girls attention. Because what does that tell them? That you like what you see, right?
Yeah. So the next question, and it's not the very next question, but this is one that was posted
This
by
will
a
tie
guy.
into it.
What do we think about girls who post sexy stuff online, like
Like
to their
OnlyFans?
Instagram, having an OnlyFans? Girls that like continue to post that stuff when they're in a relationship.
So is it they have an OnlyFans and they're posting stuff like it's
This
OnlyFans?
is like Instagram. They could be posting this like sexy bikini booty snaps and stuff on Instagram.
I think girl, do you? Absolutely. I think that if you want to do that, that's fine. I'm not judging you whatsoever, but I do think it lowers your value as a woman a little bit.
I'm speaking specifically while in a relationship. So this was a guy who said that his girlfriend is like posting the thirst traps on Instagram.
Yeah, extremely disrespectful to your man.
So-
If you don't want him liking those kind of pictures, you cannot be posting those pictures, in my opinion.
Well,
That's me.
So that's kind of a conversation because I know that there are some girls out there who are the quote unquote influencers.
Yeah, if you're
who-
making money off of that,
who
he
have a
should
major
know that
following.
getting into it, that you're going to continue to post those pictures.
If that is legitimately your job or you're aiming to make that your job, that's a conversation you need to have up front before
And
you actually get into a
yes.
relationship with this person.
And he has to be okay with you continuing that position. And if he's not, should be
He's not the
providing
one
for
for
you.
you.
He should be providing for you then.
Or he's
like,
just-
okay, then you pay my bills.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Or
you don't date.
that's just not the one for you.
Exactly.
So the next one,
We should probably bounce off of just keep going with
yeah,
that, like,
this
toxic
was
stuff.
one of our guy friends talked about, which was having his girlfriend with her dudes that she's talking to on Snapchat.
Yeah, so I think he mentioned, like, let's say you've been dating this girl for like 6 months plus, and she's still Snapchatting other guys. Now, naturally, when I get into a relationship, I stop that. I don't want to do that. It's just, I don't want to entertain anybody but my man because I love him, I respect him, and I want him to see me in that light. Like, I want him to respect me. I don't want him talking to other girls. So I would stop that. But in terms of advice for him, I would probably say that 9 times out of 10, she's flirting with those guys, in my opinion.
I'm gonna disagree.
It depends who it
because-
is. If it's guy friends, you go out with them, see them every weekend. She's around them all the time, like our guy friends. Like if it was Justin or any of our other guy friends, then that's off limits. But I'm saying, like, if it's some guy you've never met,
If it's
it's
someone
multiple
she
men you
used
never
to talk
met.
to,
yes. And if it's men you've never met or she's never introduced you to, red flag all over.
that would be a red flag. Yeah. So like I have my guy friends that we communicate through Snapchat. Forrest and I send pictures of our dogs all the time. Like that's not flirtation.
Yeah.
So I use Snapchat for the purpose that it's intended for, which is keeping up with your friends.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind having my partner do the same thing, but it would be something that I would feel most comfortable if it were someone that I had met and knew. If it's someone that
Absolutely.
you used to talk to or you used to date, even casually or anything of that sort, those are relationships that need to get cut off when you start dating someone else.
Yes. And
that's like the very first thing I do when I am dating someone. If I have someone that crosses the line,
because you have to see it from your man's point of view. Because if he was doing the same thing, you wouldn't like that either.
well, it's not just seeing it from their
it's
point of view. It's
also-
just being respectful and
Yeah,
treating
and-
other people the way you want to be treated.
Exactly, which is, yeah. And also, like, it's going to make him think, why hasn't she brought me around these dudes, like, around this dude yet?
Yeah.
So it means it could seem to him like you're hiding something. So,
Yeah. Well, and I
Not
would
for it.
say, and one of the other questions we had were the girls that have the guy friends. So
Yeah, we can go off into that now, too, because that's a big one.
if these are guy friends, like I have a lot of guy friends.
Me too.
I am very strategic with my guy friends. Mm-hmm. If they're friend zoned, they are forever in the friend zone. I'm not
Yep.
going to ruin a friendship
Yep.
to potentially date someone. So once we've established we're friends forever. Like the only way you cross the friend zone is if you're getting married. You don't cross into dating. You're just like straight into marriage.
Now, I like to start my relationships as friends first, but if you are in my immediate circle that I hang around, like we grow
Friend
together,
group,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? You know what we have
Yeah.
going, I will never cross that boundary.
Well, and I'll say I'm also usually pretty careful not to date close friends of my friends because I feel like sometimes that can get really messy.
Yeah.
The whole like don't shit where you eat. But I will say all of my guy friends, and I am very comfortable with any partner that discusses it to say, hey, you're welcome to meet them. You know, and I would encourage that. I want my partner
Yeah.
to get to meet my friends, especially as we're getting into that like very serious realm where we're probably talking like marriage and stuff like
When
that.
you're still kind of vetting the person a little bit.
When I'm vetting the person, I'm not bringing them around my friends.
Now, bringing them around your friends for the first time is still kind of vetting them because you want to see how your friends interact with them.
True,
And
but
how they act around your
I'm
friend.
usually pretty conscientious because the thing I don't want to have happen, and it's happened to me before, is when you end a relationship with someone, you don't want them going to your friends trying to badmouth you because it just makes
That's
them,
happened to us, huh?
it doesn't look good. Like we've
Yeah, because
had
we're not going to talk shit about our friends to
No,
you.
we have one of our close guy friends who was dating a girl. Things weren't going well. So she was using us as her sounding board to talk shit about our friend. And it's like, okay, what do we do with this information? This is one of our best friends.
and the way it works is our loyalty is not to significant others of our friends unless you're very, very established.
Well, and we hear both sides of the story. So typically
And our
the first thing
closest
we're
guy friend is
doing,
not going to lie to us.
typically the first thing we're doing when you're saying he's being abusive is we go to him and are like, hey,
Hey, are you abusing her?
what's going
this
on
about?
what's going on with this? Because if he is like, oh, hey, I crossed the line, I'm gonna be like, I will check him very quickly.
Yeah, and we don't surround ourselves with men that abuse women anyway, so.
Absolutely not.
So,
So
whatever.
just saying, for friends, guy friends, girlfriends, I think it's important to have friends of the opposite sex, even when you're in a relationship.
Absolutely. And because I feel like when you need advice on certain situations, they can give you a different perspective.
They can give you a different perspective, which is amazing because
Yeah.
no offense for us girls, like you and I are pretty good about checking each other.
We're emotionally driven,
But
and men are very
typically,
logically
your
driven.
girlfriends are going to agree with you. They're going to side with you. They're going to think the exact same way you do.
They're going to gas you up.
So when you have your guy friend who you go to and say, hey, here's the situation, he can check you and say, okay, so hey, from the opposite side of this, here's how I would feel. And it is a great way to then be able to empathize more with your partner.
Yep, absolutely.
So I am a big fan. I think it's very toxic when people get into relationships and they're like, my boyfriend is not allowed to have female friends.
So controlling.
I want to make sure that the friends that my boyfriend has are girls that I'm allowed to be around and that I'm allowed to talk to and that are friendly to me, because that's a weird one. I've had happen. The very first guy I dated, his female friends hated my guts. Come to find out, he had slept with 2 of them and they wanted to date him. So
It's so crazy with
that's
women
why they
because you-
hated me.
It's so crazy with women because you have to worry about those girls that are super, super nice, like almost scary too nice. And you have to worry about those girls that just like hate you off the bat, don't even give you the time of day.
Yeah.
Because the girls that are super, super, super nice secretly want to fuck your man. I'm just going to say that straight up because I've dealt with that personally.
super duper nice right off the bat. Yeah.
Right off the gate. Like just up your ass, like throwing all the compliments, just crazy, crazy, scary nice. I'm just like, you don't know me like that.
Well, and
But I also like to vet people for the first few times I meet
that's
them.
what I was gonna say. I'm not really
So-
like that when my guy friends bring their potential girlfriends around. I'm usually like, I'm very friendly, but I'm not.
I'm very including. Like,
I'm
very
not
inclusive,
overly
but-
friendly. Like I'm not trying to pretend like we're best friends first time.
No,
we
and
meet.
see, that's the thing is that they did, and I think and this is why I think they do that. I think they do that in order to get closer to you, to get details about your relationship. So once that
Ooh,
relationship is over,
subterfuge.
they know, and then they can go after him. I think that's exactly why women are way,
Playing
way,
the
way, way
long
too nice to
game.
you.
I
So.
don't hate it
Yeah.
from the female friend perspective.
But again, I unfortunately had to go through all this. So.
So the next question, and we're gonna wrap up somewhat soon here. We've just got a few more. So when should you talk to your partner about quote unquote red flags? So
Like stuff
I
that
know-
bothers you?
Yeah, I know I talked about this kind of early on or maybe one of the last 2 episodes. So very early into a relationship, like around the time you start having the exclusivity talk, so not very, very early, but like within the first month or 2.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing to have like a check-in conversation.
Yeah, like before you agree to exclusive.
And as a female, and I said something that I've gotten a lot of messages about, so I would like to clarify. So as a female, I hate having to have the "what are we" conversation.
Yeah.
I will avoid it.
And men hate it too.
Well, it can so often come across as needy and clingy.
Yes.
Which I don't want to portray myself as, because that's not who I am.
We just don't want to waste any more of our time.
So I made a comment about, I might mention that like someone has asked me out on a date. Yeah. And I've had a lot of guys be like, ooh, no, that's toxic. Why would you do that? And it's like, well, if I've been talking to a guy for 2 months and he hasn't brought up the conversation of exclusivity, he needs to understand that I'm probably talking to and possibly going out on dates with other people.
As you should. Yeah.
So if I come to him and I say, hey, and so I do this now in a much more strategic way. Old me, earlier 20s me might be like, hey, I had someone ask me out on a date and I'm just trying to check in on where we were because we haven't had a conversation on exclusivity yet. And I just want to make sure you and I are on the same page. It doesn't necessarily mean I want to go out on a date with this guy, but that may have been my way of bringing up that conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
And just saying, hey, are we still dating other people?
Yeah, that's a good way to go about it.
Now,
to get his reaction.
Now, what I have learned, much more healthy, is to say, hey, can we just check in on where we are and how things are going?
And where you see this going?
Yeah. So what do you think of me? Here's what I think. Steve Harvey wrote a book
I love Steve Harvey.
That's Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man.
I saw that movie. It's a good movie.
And his advice is for women to say, like, there are 3 questions you're supposed to ask guys, which are, what are your short-term goals?
What are your long-term goals?
Well, it's what are your short-term goals? Because you want to ask short-term goals first.
Right.
Like, long-term goals but like, what is a short-term goal you have? Because he can communicate what that goal is and then tell you what his plan is. And you can then decide, okay, is this the type of person, like...
Does this align with
Does
what
this
I want?
align with my core values? Yeah. So that's a really good question for, like, early screening, right?
Yes.
Like, first couple of dates. Then you can say, well,
it'll put him on his toes, too. Not a lot of guys get asked that.
And then you can say, well, what do you think about me? And then have the guy be like, if he's complimenting your looks exclusively.
Now, that would almost put me in, maybe, again, this is just me being protective of myself, but I feel like that's a very, very vulnerable spot to put yourself in. It almost feels like an insecure question to ask.
This should be date 4 or 5.
What do you think about me, though? Like, you should know how he thinks about you. Well, you can say,
what do you think about me? Where do you think this is going?
Yes, or...
Because the reason Steve Harvey suggest asking this question is because you can listen to his answer. Not a lot of guys like going into that
emotional your ego aside
of themselves, and they think about you and they're like, I think you're gorgeous, your body is amazing, I can't wait to get to see what's underneath that dress you're wearing.
Ugh.
Versus, I really like you, your sense of humor is amazing, I love spending time with you, I love every date that we've gone on. I'm having such a great time with you.
Ambition.
You're the type of person.
Passion.
What you're looking for is for them to basically say, you're the type of person I could see myself with long term.
Right.
Like, that's what you're wanting to hear.
Yeah.
So that's a good question because it will help vet before you start sleeping with guys, the guys that are just looking to sleep with you versus the guys that are looking at you as a potential long-term partner.
Right.
So, this is usually the point. I would say date 4 or 5 is typically where I am, like, that's when I'm cutting off other avenues.
Yep.
So that is when I would like to have that conversation of like, I just want to check in and see how things are going. Obviously, if you've gone on 4 or 5 dates, you guys are liking each other enough at this point to be able to have that potentially emotionally vulnerable conversation.
Absolutely.
And if the guy says, oh, I really like you, but I'm not looking to date. I'm not looking for something
serious. And you haven't slept with this guy yet.
You haven't slept with him yet. This is why it's key, because you can have this conversation and then you can find out, okay, is he in this for the long haul or is he just looking to get laid? And that's not what I'm looking for. So that's a quick time for me to say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect myself from that. And by that point, I think most guys are going to have let their guard down enough that they're going to have this ego.
Because that's a deeper question that they're going to really have to think about. Well, and they're going to be like, well, I feel like a lot of times guys might say what they think you want to hear.
So if they say, I really like you, what do you like about me? Like, you have to probe. They need to give you some answers. And if those answers are purely physical, that's what they're looking for.
Ugh.
If those answers go deeper, that's what they're looking for.
That's unfortunate. I feel like that would happen a lot.
Well, and obviously, if you're going out on dates with someone, you're physically attracted to them.
Yeah,
so that's
absolutely.
kind of a given.
That's the very first thing that about a person.
So the last question we'll talk about is places to meet high quality females.
Yeah. So the bar, no.
Yeah.
The bar is no.
Probably not the bar.
Not the club.
Probably not. And I'm not saying that you couldn't form a good connection, but you have to be careful with the connections that you form at the bar.
Yeah.
Because as a female, I feel like a lot of guys that meet you in a bar setting are probably thinking you're going to be an easy lay.
Yeah.
So
now I'm going to kind of take a tangent on that. I do kind of think it depends on the bar. Like, if you have, like, a really nice, like, resort bar or, like, a hotel bar.
or
like, a cocktail
the whiskey
bar.
the cocktail bar.
A very nice cocktail bar where, you know, people like to have business meetings at or stuff like that.
But in the club?
Not in the club. But I think if you have a really classy, nice bar that maybe has really good wine, a really good cocktail list, I think you can meet a high-quality woman there for sure.
Possibly.
But you also have those girls that know that they can meet a high-quality man there and go just be sitting there looking for that too.
So I would say the majority of the relationships that I've had, the serious relationships I've had, I have met through friends.
Mm-hmm.
So these are people that like have already at least been partially vetted by my friends group or like a friend of a friend. And I know I said earlier you don't date your friends, super close friends.
Yeah.
But this will be someone that like,
but they're not super close.
One of my friends may say, hey, I think you two should meet. I think you would get along really well. So most of the relationships I've had, I've met through friends. And I would say that's probably a pretty safe one. I am not a fan of online dating.
I'm not either.
And
Honestly, not for like high value women.
I know that recently we were on Justin and Gage's podcast, and they actually both said that a girl that has a Tinder is someone that they're not going to view as like a high quality.
Yeah, not a long-term option because they see Tinder as a hookup app.
Yeah.
They don't see it as someone looking for something serious.
To be completely honest, that's also how I personally view Tinder. Like that may just be I'm an old lady.
Now I have had long-term relationships. Actually, 2 long-term relationships come from dating apps, I will say. But I mean, the point is they didn't last.
Yeah.
And not to say that they can't work for people that are maybe super introverted or to find like.
But this would be a good one to open up for like our viewers. So those of you who are in very great, healthy, happy, established relationships, where did you meet your partner? Especially if you consider them to be a high quality person.
Yeah, leave it in the comments or send us a DM.
I wouldn't say that you couldn't meet a great quality girl in the club. I've met partners at the club, but I also make sure very early to establish myself as the female that I am.
Right.
So I wouldn't say that that's an impossibility, but it is probably something I would err away from.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, it's not going to work out like that.
Yeah.
You know, for the most part, but.
And then I know that there are some like higher quality, quote unquote, dating apps, ones you have to pay for. I'm not a fan of the online dating
Honestly,
thing.
the gym too.
Yeah, but you hate it when people talk to you at the gym. So I don't know if a dude approached you in the gym, how much of an opportunity you give him.
It depends what your energy brings.
I know of a lot of people that meet their significant others at a work setting. I don't hate that. If you're in a professional setting, networking events.
I am highly against dating in like your job.
Not in your job. Like you don't date a coworker.
Oh,
but
yeah,
it's like if you go to a
coworker.
networking event and you meet someone.
Different. That's
like
different.
I think networking events can be an excellent place to meet high quality singles in your area.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, it's almost like a dating scene.
It could be.
Because you know, like if you're an attractive female that goes to those things, I know one of our girlfriends said that she gets hit on at those things all the time.
To the point that she bought she has a very expensive engagement ring now that she wears.
To those specifically to get that respect.
To make sure that men aren't hitting on her thinking she's single. So I think
that's a good thing to end on,
That's probably going to wrap it up for the week.
Okay, let me throw our socials at you. So we are at the Pink Flag Pod on TikTok and Instagram. We are also on YouTube, Spotify, Audible, and Podchaser. And all of those are free, I think, except Spotify.
So for our next episode, we have something kind of excited planned for you guys. We are planning to have on some males to basically give their feedback and review some of the
advice that we've been giving y'all.
So that's going to be really fun to hear about. And for all of our guy listeners, if you consider yourself to be a high quality male and you might like to be featured,
just shoot us a message.
Hit
man.
us up.
we want to have more people on here, so just shoot us a message and see what you bring. We'll see what we can get going.
Well, thanks for listening,
Thanks,
guys. Bye.
Bye. Have a good week.